I used to get roasted because I was legitimately and visually a nerd. Like, it was undeniable.
Yeah.
Like, my grandmother worked at Kmart.
Okay.
And so my clothes were just whatever they were selling at Kmart.
Yeah.
And
She had
would
an employee discount.
Yeah. So I was just in nice sweaters and corduroys all the time.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
Really?
Yeah.
People, you carry yourself taller than that.
Oh, that's good. That's years of practice.
Wait,
guess.
what are those shoes? Maybe it's a shoe.
Yeah, maybe they got a big old elbow.
I was definitely like, this is tall. I think also people carry themselves taller and shorter. That has nothing to do with their height.
Yeah.
Because I will literally, people I've known for years will not see me for a little while, and I will see them like, man, come on, when'd you get so tall?
Yeah, like you're still growing.
Yeah. I think it's just like I don't walk around like.
You don't hit people on top of the head a lot.
No, I don't do that.
You should probably do it like once a year just to let people know.
I don't lift people up and go, look at you down there. Look at you. Hey, I'm Tom Cruise. Put me down.
It's not the way you get movie roles.
No, that's why I've
shaking Tom Cruise.
So I haven't done any of the Mission Impossible movies because I picked him up the first time I met him. Yeah, so I think, but anyway, the first thing I want to say is you are tall. You're not as tall as I thought you were.
Okay, well. I'm going to be spending the rest of our conversation processing that. It makes me feel so many ways at once.
All right. For real, though, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
No, I appreciate that.
Thank you for being willing to talk to people less famous than Ted Danson. That's really nice of you. You don't have to do that. You could be Ted Danson or
that's
above,
the bar.
That's
the bar.
You could.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
Yeah. I appreciate you appreciating that. I have to say, it's not exactly how I thought about this. Like, what's the bar? But I do like thinking that like it's Ted. Is it between you two?
Well, I would not like to think of myself as the low bar.
No, you're not the low bar.
So then,
I'm just saying that's the bar. I'm not saying, I will go lower than you.
Okay.
I promise. Over the course of this podcast, I will go much lower than Mike Eagle.
I think I'd really love it if we change the subject.
Okay.
It'd be really cool.
We can do that. No, I do actually want to start this with start every episode giving people their flowers.
Oh, I like flowers.
So let's do that because what we just did was not that. So that's not what I meant to do. It just I get caught up in things. I don't remember. I know we met around the time I was on Totally Biased. Was that right?
I visited you in the office while you guys were in production.
I know I don't remember it because I was crazy then.
Yeah, it was a wild time.
Yeah.
It was a wild time. I think I was friends with a lot of people on your staff at that time too.
Yeah. And I think also the connection came through Hannibal, maybe?
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, why can't I remember her name right now? But she was a writer on your show who I was working a lot with in LA at the time.
Eliza Skinner?
Eliza Skinner, yes. Yes. Shout out to Eliza Skinner. She's, I believe she was very instrumental in us meeting as well.
Yeah. No, I remember like at the time being like, oh, that guy's, he seems good. And my whole thing was like, how do I make the show better? Can that guy be on the show? But then never being able to grab all the pieces in the way I wanted to.
You had a lot you were trying to do. I think this was right after it went like 5 nights a week or something. So it was nutty in there. I remember it was nuts.
Yeah. It is a defining part of my life of like, I don't ever want to do showbiz like that again.
I understand. I also, so shortly after you had that show, I had my show, The New Negroes, which is another experience that I don't want to have another one like that again.
Yeah. So this brings me back to flowers. There's a way in which I see you out in the world very fiercely doing what you want to do the way you want to do it. And I know, and I think I told you this, I think I did, but like when I went and saw you live, open for Clipping recently in Berkeley, and I was telling my wife, and she wasn't familiar with your music, and I was like, do you remember what I told you I said to her?
I do remember.
What did I say?
You said he's like me if I rapped, talking about yourself.
That's what I said. I mean, as a way to sort of communicate what kind of rap she was getting into.
I think that's a really smart way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, even if whether it's true or not, it's certainly, she was like, okay, I get it. And then I don't think I would be like you if I was a rapper, but I do think that I would be taking an alternate path like you. Yeah, so it wasn't about how you did it. It was about that's the path he's taking.
Yeah, I think it's about the spirit of the thing.
Yeah.
I think we approach things with a similar spirit.
Yeah. And so I really, having seen you since Totally Biased and having seen you just clearly like, I'm over here. I think about that. Like I'm over here. I know everything. No, there's a lot over there.
So much over there.
There's so much over there.
Looks like they're having so much fun sometimes.
they claim to have a lot of fun over there. There's lots of, but I'm over here, and I know being a person who's also over here. You know, I live in Oakland, which is even more like I'm over, which is a version of I'm over here because I'm not in LA or New York. But just the idea of like how hard that is to always be over there, but also ultimately there's satisfaction in being over there because you're very clear where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, and what I find about myself is, you know, I live in LA, but I'm still over there.
Exactly.
When I go to New York, I'm still over there.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So it's like it's a sort of spiritual geography that I take with me kind of wherever I go.
Yeah.
And you know, I might be at a party with a bunch of people who are not over there.
Yeah,
but even when I'm over there,
yeah,
I'm over there.
Yeah. Even at that party, you're probably in the room at that party. That's the over there room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I am the room in the party that's over there.
I think I was born over there. And so I sort of knew from an early age, I can't get there. I'm over, you know, I can't get here. I'm mixing up the metaphors.
Yeah,
but
me too.
Yeah. But anyway, I knew that there was a place where everybody was coagulating and assembling. And I maybe get close, but I knew that I don't belong with those people. Not that I can't enjoy myself sometimes, not that I don't enjoy some of what comes out of that, but like, you know, I was very aware that like that's not for me. And so early on I was like, so I got to stop even pretending like I'm going that way, you know? Was it the same for you, or were you with all the people and then you left, or were you always like outside the party?
I was with all of the people because there was a point in my life where the people is all I knew. So I knew how to speak people. so I could move around okay.
Yeah.
But I always felt a little off.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't really until I discovered like the underground hip hop community in Chicago. Like the dudes who was breakdancing, graffitiing, DJing, and freestyling. When I found this group of people and I found the real meritocracy of that too, it was like, oh, I can just be over here with people who like music that I like, and if I practice and apply myself to getting good at these weird activities that we all seem to love doing, then I got a little thing for myself, and I can build a sense of selfhood based on my accomplishments and my dedication to these arts. And that's when my over there-ness felt really complete.
Okay, so it sounds like you weren't a kid who grew up saying, I am going to grow up and be a rapper.
No.
Okay.
I used to be kind of scared of rap music when I was a little kid.
I mean, so I'm a little bit older than you, so I have the entire like rap from like the no rap, a little bit of rap,
okay,
a few rap, you know what I mean? So I have the whole, so I can understand. There was a point
when I was born, there was rap all around me.
Yeah, see, yeah. No, I'm like 7 years older than you, so I remember like the radio and being like, I said hip hop, and I was like, wait, what? Did he say a hip hop? A heavy to hip hop? Is that what that seems different, you know? Like I remember that moment when that was like a sea change. And I remember like, oh, Curtis Blow is fun and Run DMC is fun. And then slowly but surely, I was thinking about this as I was going to talk to you. Like I remember when rap was a fad, and when rap was like, rap is for musicians who don't know how to sing. That was a famous like.
Well, there's a lot of people who still feel that way.
Yeah, sure. I think they're probably they're not at either party.
Yeah, no,
they're in the Manosphere. But like so. So talk about your version of what when you grew up.
So the first rap song I ever heard in my life, I got in the car with my mom, and she was playing Eazy-E. So I couldn't have been older than 8. That was 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah, because that's where like late 80s. Maybe.
Yeah. And I guess I must have heard some rap, but this is the first time I remember like listening to what a rapper was saying. And I was so confused.
Yeah.
Because it was like, he's saying these words. Am I supposed to be hearing these words? Why is my mother playing this? Is this a test? Like I have no way to wrap my head around it. And he sounded so interesting to me.
Yeah.
He sounded like a little cartoon character.
Yes, yeah.
Talking about doing violent crimes.
Yep.
It really was something. And the theater of the mind that started happening, I was like, wow, this is really something else. And then I have an older step sibling who was 4 or 5 years older than me, but a huge hip hop head. So coming and spending summers with her, coming to visit my dad, just had every tape you could think of. Had everything. And so
And what year is this?
This is 87, 88.
Oh, 89. So we're like, I mean, this is still like, there's still debate about, is rap a real thing? But we're like LL Cool J.
Yeah, I mean, post LL Cool J. We're into Slick Rick, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane.
Okay.
Like that's the stuff that's really popping at the time.
Okay.
You know, Bismarcky is big, and NWA is huge.
Yes.
Public Enemy. So like that's the world around me. And I found a lot of it really scary. Like I liked Slick Rick, I liked Kwame, you know. That was cute. You know, I liked the little story raps and all that stuff. But even Slick Rick used to say some disgusting things. Crabs with spears and Indian drums? What? What? To put that visual in my mind. I was 9 years old.
Oh my God.
Oh.
The one thing I know from that story is we had different moms.
Yeah.
I did not have.
I had a very different type of mom than most people.
Yeah.
For sure.
And when she's playing Eazy in the car, is she like, is there any awareness in her mind that's like, this, he shouldn't be hearing this? And
none
or
at
just,
all.
Just, I want to hear this song.
I want to hear the song in the Nissan.
Yeah. And if he needs to go to school.
Yeah.
So these things will happen simultaneously.
Yes, without nary a second thought.
Okay. So that's interesting because, again, sort of just to talk about by the time NWA comes around, I'm very clear that like I like rap music, but it's not speaking to me. I don't have anything against it, especially because I feel like, and I would love to hear your talk about this because you were still young, but I'm sure you've looked back on this time. I remember seeing Arrested Development in concert. Like I remember Diggable Planets and being like, oh, I like this version.
Yeah.
And then at some point, the record company said, that's enough of that.
Well, I think about that a lot.
Yeah, like so, I felt like there was rap that I was responding to, and the mainstream was like, we don't like the fact that Kamau likes this rap.
No,
so.
that's not what happened. It wasn't okay. Everything's not about you.
It was a very personal attack.
But so I had that awakening when I first heard, Tribe.
Yeah.
You know, like Dita Applebaum was big. Seeing the video for Buddy from De La Soul, that was huge. It's all of these Afrocentric clothing wearing people that seem to be really like getting along and having fun
and quirky.
Yeah.
Like weird.
And they were putting that forward in a way that, like, when I first heard that music and saw that aesthetic and that atmosphere, that was the first time I felt like I had a seat at the table. So by the time I'm getting into rap as a teenager, I feel like I'm fruit from that tree. I'm fruit from the Native Tongues tree. So Tribe, De La, Leaders of the New School, like that whole energy. And so what ended up happening, though, is that those of us who were over there, and especially those of us who, like me, discovered rapping, breaking, graffiti, DJing around the time when we were late into our high school years, a thing called the internet happened, and there became.
You write that down. Internet.
Yeah, you got it. It's very important.
I can look that up later.
It's very important.
Yeah.
There became this easy way to get music. And remember, we were crate diggers. We used to go to the dusty record shops and try to find the secondhand.
Yep.
But all of a sudden, wait a minute. You mean there's this application I can put on? And I don't have a personal computer, but I know one guy. One guy in the dorm does.
We all knew one guy.
We all knew one guy. Yeah. He wasn't afraid to have his hard drive compromised with all of this potentially virus-filled music.
Yeah.
So the reason that there used to be music that we liked was that there were enough of us buying that music that the major labels were able to put a line in the budget to make this alternative bohemian rap music and give them big videos and put them in Tower Records next to everything else. But we were the first ones to stop buying it. And when we stopped buying it, that whole thing collapsed, and it was no longer a good idea for the record labels to have that because we weren't paying for it.
I mean, I've heard those stories about Tribe Called Quest's first album went platinum on the streets, but not in the record stores. Like sort of
Just bootlegging.
Yeah.
So I guess there was a legacy of that anyway.
Yeah. That there was like everybody had that album, but not everybody got it from going to the record store.
You know what? That makes a lot of sense. And again, when you're speaking to a particular population that is not always the best about following the rules.
Yeah. Well, also has been like feels like the rules aren't for them anyway.
True. But but that's sort of how we don't understand our own place in the economy by following that logic that way. And I'm as guilty as anyone else. It's just that when I got into the business of it, now I can kind of see it. Like, if me and my friends had kept paying for those, the De La Soul albums that came out after Stakes is High, then maybe we're in a different place.
Yeah. Although I'm so loath to blame us.
I just, the way that my mind is operating lately is that most of the boogeymen are just, capitalism in a cheap Scooby-Doo villain suit.
Yes.
So, looking at it through that lens, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Our money comes out. We stop having the thing.
Yeah. No, it is. I agree. That's how the ultimate villain. I use that with United Shades. Like no matter what issue we were covering, racism, indigenous rights, immigration rights at the border. The ultimate villain was capitalism. Yeah, was American capitalism.
Usually is.
Yeah. So you said, you didn't grow up wanting to necessarily want to be a rapper, but then you're like hanging out in the scene and be like, oh, I think I could actually do something in the scene and create in the scene. Are you always headed down? And I please, I want to know what you call what you do.
I called it art rap in 2010, and I still get asked about that all the time.
It was in the it's in the dossier, and I was like, is that real? I mean, I don't know. Sure, maybe, but you notice I didn't say it first. I wanted to ask you.
I know my first album is called Unapologetic Art Rap. So
you did it to yourself.
I did. Yeah, I did.
You put it in the system.
I did. But that was a different time. Yeah. It felt necessary to say something like that at that time.
Well, sure. It's like it's like the idea of like there was a time where I was calling myself a blurred every 10 minutes.
There you go.
You just go. Actually, it was around the time totally biased when somebody called me a blurred. I was like, oh, is that what I am?
Right.
Okay, I'm glad there's a name for it.
Right.
Before
distinctions are important. I feel like they're important for the marketplace. It's important to have distinctions. So, I went with that because I felt like, rock gets to have all these different subgenres.
I really agree with what you're saying. Like, that. Like, it is helpful to the marketplace, and it's helpful to the consumer to know what am I going to buy? Where do I look for it? Where's my section?
Right, like the people like me and you who would have been looking for the Diggable Planets record. Like it would be nice if there was a separate bin.
Exactly,
just for us.
Nerds.
Now I feel like the distinction, like indie seems cool because indie speaks to both the economics of it and my the fact that I don't have to answer to anybody really creatively. I feel like so indie feels good. It doesn't feel quite specific enough.
Yeah, no,
but it feels like it's on the way.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, sort of in that sense, like punk rock covers a lot of different sort of like sounds in that genre of music. That you can get the Clash, which has some very like pop forward music, but the ethos is punk.
Right.
Yeah. So I get that indie rap. So were you always on an indie rap path, or are there Polaroids of you, like, like where you were like,
no, I never had a dookie rope. That's what you're asking.
Like where you're like, this is what we do. Do you?
No, man.
You were always on the indie rap path.
I mean, when we say, about you or about me that I always knew I was over there, like that's really what I mean. Like there was never a thought in my mind of doing anything even close to mainstream. It just has never been interesting to me, and I don't I don't think I'm wired in a way where I'd be, even if I really tried really hard.
That's
I think
how I feel.
it would be difficult for me to make a mass market product.
That's how yeah, it's like you could give me the pieces to make a mass market. You could get like it's like Legos. You could give me the pieces, you give me the instructions. It's not gonna look like that.
It's not gonna look like that.
It's not gonna look like
the head
that.
gonna be on the bottom.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's gonna have some jelly smeared on it or something
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's just not. It's just not gonna. And accepting that, I think, especially when there's something scary about this, especially as a black person when you accept that, because it's like you're just you're putting yourself in a smaller and smaller corner.
That's true.
That as a white person, oh, you're the quirky white. You know what I mean? There's just like, oh, that's a whole, we can market to that. Right. You know what I mean? Like we could, like there's a whole genre, like what you're Wes Anderson.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, we just go over here. You just over here with that. But as a black person, especially when I was coming up, I always say that the thing that you had, which I'm going to look into, the internet.
Thank you.
I was very aware that like if I had only had the internet, I thought I was the only one on the planet. Like I thought I was I would go to, and we've talked about this because you came to the Fishbone show that I got to moderate the thing, and I would go to the Fishbone concert. There'd be more black people on stage than in the theater, and you'd see another black guy across the room, and there'd be that moment. And I wonder if you've had this where you're like, is he my best friend or do I have to fight him?
You know what's funny? My favorite band is They Might Be Giants.
Yes, you made that clear at the show, the clipping show.
Yeah. Oh God, I did. I sang so much.
That was great. I thought that was great.
Oh man,
it was for the people who are watching this. You said somehow you had a They Might Be Giants stuck in your head somehow.
Yeah, I can't remember how we got to this moment.
You basically came out and said,
"Oh no, this is what happened," because every show on that tour, and this was legitimate. I had created a set, but I could not decide on the first song, so I was letting the crowd in each show just yell something you like that I do, and I might do that as my first song. And that night it went on a little too long with people sort of shouting out things that I couldn't quite hear. And then somebody said, "Say They Might Be Giants," and I was like, wait a minute, I can do that.
I mean, it was I sort of knew that it wasn't a bit, but I felt like he should really there's a They Might Be Giants cover album in you.
Oh God, yes.
That to me, it was like, and it was so satisfying to me because They Might Be Giants is great, but I feel like it's like there's things like that ostensibly to some people are super white, but I'm like, no, that's mine too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I've had that experience at They Might Be Giant shows where I see another black person. I feel like I've had both sides of that spectrum. Both like, hey, that's dope, and the other's like,
I don't know if we're allowed to be close to each other. Does the venue explode?
Yeah.
Because the two indie black guys get too close to each other. I mean, there's literally a black guy, there's Billy Tuggle, who I've never had a conversation with longer than like 10 minutes. And he's just a black guy I used to see at all the Fishbone Living Color shows in Chicago. And we're like, he just commented on an Instagram post I had recently. I was like, like I've never had a long conversation with the guy because at the time when I would see him, I would be like, oh, that guy's here again.
Yeah.
Hope he's okay. I hope it's okay that I'm, you know what I mean? Right. Instead of like, if the internet existed, we would have found each other on the internet. Hey, who here in Chicago is going to see Living Color tonight? Yeah. And I am. And we would have gone together and we would have hung out. You know what I mean?
That's so cute.
I know. So I do envy you internet Negroes.
Well,
you internet alt Negroes.
I really, my altness was grounded in like, giant hip hop crew meetings in Chicago, and I mean big ones, like hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people?
Hundreds.
For a meeting about hip hop?
Well, okay, because we had crews that, they were basically like legal gangs, like the graffiti crews in Chicago, the hip hop crews. And sometimes there would be all city hip hop meetings, and we would descend on the Harold Washington Library.
Of course.
And there would be hundreds of us.
Wow. So I guess my question is, if your mom is playing Eazy-E in the car, like I feel like I can trace my alternative blackness to where it started from. I'm an only child. My mom used to take me around. Didn't always want babysitters, so I was around adults a lot. And I got to, because I'm an only child, I got to spend a lot of time by myself, sort of creating my own version of what culture was.
Same here.
In my room, and then I'd go outside and be like, we're not all doing. Oh, okay. I'll just go back in my room. Where does give me your the blueprint of how you got to be.
So south side of Chicago, late 80s, early 90s, it is not nice outside.
No.
It is not nice outside. And because my mom was living the life she was living, my grandparents raised me and my sister.
Oh, that will make you alt if you're being raised by people who are a lot of your grandparents.
And a lot of that time was spent in front of the television.
Yeah.
So latchkey kid in front of the TV. I wasn't allowed to go outside a lot, like literally because it was shooting outside all the time.
It's not like they're not mad. They're like, oh, good, he's watching TV all day.
Yeah,
we know where
got something to do. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we had cable, which was a rarity. Ooh. We had cable,
right,
so a lot of my alt identity, a lot of the original information that isolated me socially was watching like hours and hours of MTV. Hours and hours of like the Comedy Channel.
Oh yeah, before Comedy Central.
Before Comedy Central.
Yep, I remember that.
I was the sort of kid that, once cartoons were over, because cartoons were such a small segment of programming. And I was
back then it was like they start at this time and they end at this time.
And I had asthma real bad too.
Oh, we both had it's maybe asthma's the secret sauce.
Maybe asthma.
So you're not at the court learning how to dunk. You're the kid who, and back then if you pulled out an asthma inhaler, everybody would just like nobody knew what they were.
I mean, so many kids I was around had asthma.
Well, black kids, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of our hidden talents as black people, is being born in areas that give you asthma.
It's terrible. But I'd been hospitalized for asthma a few times as a kid.
Same.
So I spent like a lot of time at home, on school days watching TV. And so that's when you would see the cartoons end at like 9 a.m. And then from like 9 a.m. to 3 something when cartoons come back on, I'm looking for anything funny on television. So I'm like learning about the world through reruns of shows that happened in the 70s and earlier in the 80s. And like all of that stuff is like informing my worldview, and I watched a lot of late 80s and early 90s stand-up comedy, because that was all over cable. Remember, you'd have like Evening at the Improv and the half-hour comedy hour and
free
like
programming,
all of that stuff. And so
cheap
like
programming.
I'm learning how the world works through people telling jokes. The comedy specials that used to come on like HBO and Showtime, like all of that stuff. Like, you know what I used to love watching? Gallagher specials. I loved watching a Gallagher special.
People like, this is definitely, you have to be a certain age. So there was a time when VH1 probably showed more Gallagher comedy than they showed music.
Probably right.
And Gallagher had like, I don't know, legitimately like 10 specials.
He had a lot of specials.
He had a lot of specials. And while we know them for ending with the Sledge-O-Matic, he also was like sort of like a bargain basement George Carlin.
He was like a word nerd.
Yeah, he was like this sort of like wordplay and like had some sort of like these idiots in Congress had a little bit of that.
I always thought it was fascinating.
For sure.
He was just a person giving me this weirdo perspective on life and language. And I ate all that stuff up.
Yeah. Okay, Gallagher's, I think asthma and Gallagher will do it to you.
Putting the recipe together.
Yeah, putting the recipe together. Older people raising you. Asthma and Gallagher. That I need to. We've diagnosed the patient.
That's a special gumbo, right?
That is
there.
a special gumbo, because I definitely was I very proudly say people told me I watched too much TV, but I actually turned it into a career. So
there you go.
I knew what I was doing.
There you go.
But yeah, so that you're taking in all that stuff. So I remember as a young black person being shunned by other black people, because there's another reason why some of us are over there is because you try to walk to where everybody is and they go, no, you're over there. You know what I mean? And I remember being just because people black folks in Chicago, I was in Chicago too at the same time, could smell that like he's not. It was. I got the "they not like us" early on.
Oh, that's rough.
Not for the same reasons. Not for the same reasons, but just because it's like you're not. I can just. I can just smell it on you.
So you weren't like going to Atlanta and stealing people's rap styles.
No, I didn't do that.
Good.
I didn't do that. I'm not. I've never been called a colonizer.
That's good.
But and also all the other things. There's no pens over my house. But so. But I know that like I just knew that like those. There's a segment of black people who don't think I belong with them. They can smell it on me. Did you have that? I mean, you're also in the hip hop crew of hundreds. So
no, but this okay. But we would be talking about my life before then.
Okay,
right? Because I discovered that community when I was like 16.
Okay.
And before that, I can say I felt like I didn't have much of a social identity at all. So I always felt like I was learning how to wear a socializing costume. That's why I say I could speak people, because I think I could appear to be comfortable. Like I could go to my cousin's house that lived in the projects and be chilling. Now I used to get roasted because I was legitimately and visually a nerd. Like it was undeniable. Like my grandmother worked at Kmart.
Okay.
And so my clothes were just whatever they were selling at Kmart.
Yeah, she had an employee discount.
Yeah, so I was just in nice sweaters and corduroys all the time. All the time.
You were business casual at 11?
My God, with little glasses and a little shag. I was not beating no nerd allegations. So it wasn't so much you're not black, but it was certainly you're not cool.
Which also there's different ways to roast where you're kicking somebody out, but you're also seeing if you can roast them, see if they can take it, then you're letting them in. Yeah. So at what point is hip hop becoming a career?
So okay, I get in and I start freestyling, and I would say I didn't record a verse until I was 18 for a song. And then I didn't write a song until I was in college. I had to be like 20 or 21. But that entire time, freestyling, battling, like street corner rapping.
Like really in it.
For real.
Okay.
Battling.
Like you're not the guy who's like alt in his bedroom.
No,
you're actually out there.
Because there wasn't a bedroom thing at that time because nobody had recording equipment. So none of us even thought of ever like trying to make it. We were just doing the arts because that's what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to get out there and do the graffiti. We were supposed to learn to break dance. We were supposed to rap. We were supposed to battle. So that's what we were doing, and we were getting sharp and getting good and whatever. I achieved a lot of success in rap. Like it was something that people could see I was good at, and so I just freestyled for years and years and years and years. This band that I used to freestyle with in undergrad booked a show at the local spot where people performed, and they were like, "We want to put you on the bill." I'm like, "Cool," and they were like, "You need some songs."
They're like, "Oh, you're oh, cool." No.
Right. So I went home and I wrote and memorized 5 songs.
Jesus.
And that was my set. And I performed, and it felt so cool. And then at the end of that show, they put $200 in my hand. And when I tell you, I've never had a better feeling in my whole life.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning. It was like, like the thing I like to do, but for money.
And also, I just wrote these these songs didn't exist a week ago, and now
exactly.
Yeah.
So it was all very encouraging toward, maybe I could try this one day. So when I ended up moving to LA in 2004, just a couple years after I finished undergrad. And I was only supposed to be here a year because I was supposed to go to grad school, but I didn't end up doing that. But in the back of my head when I moved out here was the thought of maybe I could try it, because I knew the Project Blowed guys. Now I had visited a couple times out here in LA visiting my dad, and I'd gone to the Blowed, and I was a freestyler, so they took me. Actually, the first time I rapped at the Blowed, I got booed off stage. The first time I got booed off stage.
And when you look back on getting booed off stage, there's times you get booed off when it's your fault and times where you go, they sucked. Which was this?
I think it's always your fault if you get booed off stage, personally.
Okay, fair.
So
fair.
I mean, I certainly was not, when I first got on that stage, I had never rapped to a room full of rappers, really. Not like that.
Not like that, yeah.
I had rapped around rappers in like cypher settings. I had rapped on stage.
But not
to,
like, you
regular
don't know
people.
me. I'm stepping on stage. I'm going to impress you with my lyrical ability.
And everyone there just wants their time to be on stage. So if you're not being amazing,
you're not using the time
quickly,
well.
Yeah, they're getting you up out of there. So it was a hard lesson, but you know, I came back. I had to sort of acclimate to what they were doing. It was a different approach.
Yeah.
But I learned that approach too.
It's funny, that's the same with comedy. Like if you do comedy in Chicago and you come to LA and it's like, oh, this is a different vibe. Yeah.
In Chicago and LA specifically, when it came to rap, it was two distinct different styles. And I had to learn how to, I had to learn how to rap out here. And put that into my tool belt. But at
that point, how would you, to a layman like myself, say this is the difference in the styles?
At the time, the Chicago was split into South Side and West Side. The South Side style was very much a punchline style. It was like a lot of bars. I mean, a lot of verses were set up, punchline. A lot of big metaphors that people would try to impress people with. In LA, it was about different cadences. It was about the percussive sound and being able to freestyle like that. And so when I came on that stage doing my setup punchline, it was like, get out of here.
When you went up there, what you hear is not a test. I'm a rapping to the beat.
That's what it sounded like to them. That's what it sounded like to them. They weren't interested in watching me think. But because I knew some of those people, and some of those people had careers such that when I was in Chicago, I would hear some of their records. So AC Alone, Abstract Rude, Micah 9, the Freestyle Fellowship. These are guys who would be at Project Blowed, but had music that was going around the nation.
Yeah.
So when I came out here, I was like, I'm going to go over there and not leave. And I learned how to have a career over there.
So, you're surrounded by rappers. Everybody's in it for different reasons, had different ideas what their career is going to be. And there's also been moments when it's like so-called alt black rappers have sort of entered the mainstream. Are you ever sort of like, I'll say this as a comedian, there were times in my career I thought I can be Eddie Murphy, and then I realized I can't be Eddie Murphy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and looking back, like, I don't know what I was thinking about. But but then there's like, I can see a path forward that's not that, but it is going to put me in a place where I can provide for my family and do what I want to do.
Totally. And
are you ever being like looking at Lil Wayne and going like, I'm next?
No, absolutely. See, that's the thing.
Because most rappers would tell you, if I don't think I'm,
Well, that's the thing. I think I'm great. But I think that what people at the very, very top of the genre are doing are making something that's easily mass market digestible. And I'm not the best at that. In fact, I'm probably terrible at that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, there's nobody better than me at doing what I do. And
go.
that's what I always stand on. You know? And so
yeah.
The highest heights I had reached was having a television show, right?
Yeah.
And being able to do my thing next to Method Man and next to Lizzo, next to MF Doom, like that was like my dreams realized.
That was the New Negroes.
Yeah, that was the New Negroes.
Yeah.
So that was, as far as the level of cultural penetration that I was ever hoping for, that was it.
So we talked about that. You had the show The New Negroes, which I remember Baron Vaughn's a part of that. And there was just this, I remember hearing about it for a long time. Like, it just seemed like it was like Comedy Central was trying to had it and didn't put it out for a while, and
it was a weird
it was easy.
situation.
Here's the thing: I knew as somebody from the outside, and also Kevin's my friend, that that's to know that you have a show, and to know that it's not it's not doing the thing you thought it was going to do, or to know that it's taken a while, and to know that and then to know that it's out, and you go, I thought the dream was having a show, and now I have a show, and I sort of maybe I'll speak for myself. I kind of can't wait for this to be over.
I can't say that I was of the mind that I couldn't wait for it to be over, but after the first season ended, and when we were having conversations about potentially doing a second, my thought was I do want it to happen, but I have to find a way to do it where this network is not shitting in my heart. I have to find a way to do it where they're not chewing on my soul for this, because what I can tell after having this one season's worth of experience is that these people don't much care what happens to my mind. And so I can't keep feeding them the best part of me. So that was my thought. I definitely wanted to do it again.
Yeah.
But I had to find a different way to do it.
And season 2 didn't happen.
Season 2 didn't happen.
Yeah,
They even that was
we really like shitting in your heart.
Yeah, but that was the final turn.
We really need to do that part. We'd love to do a season 2, but we got to shit in your heart. No,
may I interest you in shitting in your heart? Yeah.
No. So where does that take you after that? Is that I'm just going my own way?
I mean, I've had a few TV projects in the works. I had things in development. I had things get shelved. I have shows I've written for. I haven't had another look like that, but it's I feel like where we are now, that was a stand-up comedy hip hop variety show, which on paper, miraculous that it ever existed.
It got to the air.
Miraculous.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not the sort of thing where I'd be holding my breath looking to do that type of thing again.
Yeah, no, it's not. You're not trying to reboot it,
right? I think. I mean, we did try to reboot it, but we gave up on that dream. But the things that I try to do in TV now are more just scripted, more trying to translate my ideas into, what the market is looking for, rather than trying to shoehorn what I do into platforms that maybe it's not suited for.
Well, and that brings me to how I discovered you in the last, I don't know how long you've been doing it, but when I discovered you in the last several months, of you now on YouTube, just sort of speaking to the culture directly and putting your opinions out there, and sort of. Certainly you've always been a person with opinions, and you were on Twitter. You certainly weren't shy about sharing your opinions. But what makes you decide to go? And I don't know if I've caught up late. I don't know how long it's been going on, but and talk about what this project is.
It hasn't been that long. So I started streaming on Twitch, I think 3 years ago.
Okay.
And that's a fun thing that can pay a decent amount of money, if you got the right level of engagement. And my show on there has gotten to a decent place. But it occurred to me that the state of YouTube was such that I was seeing a lot of people who were repurposing clips from their live streams into YouTube content. And I dabbled in that, especially around the time of the Kendrick and Drake battle was this huge sort of open door where everybody had a voracious appetite for discourse around that beef and them songs.
That was me. I was everybody.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear everybody's opinion on it. I wanted to know everybody's. I was me.
And that's sort of how I got into it, right? I had made a couple clips and put a couple things up and was trying to figure out my way through it, but I saw in that it was exactly that attitude, that everybody wanted to hear what everybody had to say.
Yeah, I don't care if I agree with, I don't care if I like who you voted for. I don't care if you were my bully in high school.
Right.
If you have an opinion on Drake versus Kendrick, I would like to hear it.
So between that and Diddy getting arrested, and because my biggest clip was me, or one of my biggest early clips was speaking to that, because I remember being especially sort of upset about the Diddy revelations, because that hip hop community that I'm telling you I've been a part of for 30 years, I feel like we have been trying to warn people about Diddy for the entire time.
Oh wow.
You know, like I feel like
And you're talking about your specific hip hop community,
yeah, like
not the greater hip hop.
well, I mean the greater hip hop community in terms of the b-boy side of it. You know, the underground hip hop side of it. Like to where sometimes our messaging comes across as mainstream bad, underground good. I think that there's an underlying thing where we're like, hey, that guy and where he's trying to take things, it's got this weird thing to like it seems sort of antithetical to this thing that we're trying to preserve. And if you follow his career, like it opened the doors to all of this weirdness, right? Um, and I feel like that's something that we were ahead on. And I had a lot to say about trying to understand why it is that people don't listen to that sort of warning. And that was an early successful clip. And that was one of the ones I was just like, I was just talking. I was just talking. I didn't edit nothing. I talked for like half an hour.
Yeah.
And people liked it. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is an
It's like
avenue.
it's like when you did the 5 songs at the club and you got $200. You're like, oh, is that?
Yeah,
Oh, I can just talk for a half hour about a thing I care a lot about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the balancing act. That was that last part you said, because and this is what I ran into early on, was that, oh, the way that this works as a thing to make money on is that you have to talk about the things people care about. But do I always care about what people care about?
That's the thing I see happen to people that I follow on YouTube, is you can tell when they're like paying too much attention to the algorithm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you really want to talk about?
Yeah.
Or actually, maybe you'd like to talk about it, but I don't think you have a real
A real opinion.
Yeah, I don't think you have. I don't think you have anything to say about it. You're talking about it, and I think that's the thing. I think there's an invitation to just sort of like, oh, this is trending in the news.
Yeah.
I got to weigh in. And I see people sometimes like, y'all have been begging me to make a video. Like recently, everybody who I follow is like, I know y'all want me to talk about Jack Harlow.
Black Jack Harlow.
Yes, and it just feels like that becomes like, and believe me, when the Jack Harlow thing broke, and as we taped this, it's not that long ago, I was like, let me go see what Mike's talking about. Like, I definitely was like, I want to see if he's got something to say. Oh, good, he does.
Right.
Oh, and it's a long video. It's like, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was like Christmas for me.
That was a meatball over the plate.
But that is, that is the difference, right? Like that is something that I genuinely had thoughts about, right? Where there was other stuff I found myself talking about when this journey first started, where I was like, I'd kind of rather I didn't make a video on that, because I don't actually care about it.
Yes,
But it's that, just learning to kind of listen to myself and know that some discussions I'd rather stay out of.
Which is I have that same thing. It's like, I don't actually need to weigh in on this. I can share somebody else's opinion on it, but. So there's 2 things I want to talk to you about. One is just how you came to be this sort of like version of yourself that you are and exist inside the greater black umbrella that we live under, and indie rap, indie black, over there, all the different ways to talk
over there.
Over there, over there. The other thing I want to talk to you about is, and this is something I deal with, is like how to maintain all the independence without one sort of going like, maybe there's ways you go, maybe I will lean into the mainstream, or there's sometimes like, maybe I'll go get a job at the post office, to quote Hollywood Shuffle. Like maybe I'll do some things I didn't think I was going to do. Like with me, it's like I go 3 kids, 9 jobs.
Yeah.
Like I have to sort of like have a lot of things up in the air.
Same.
Because I still got to feed these people.
Yep.
And I mean, literally these people
humans.
in my house. Yeah, these humans. Not like feed the people my truth bombs.
No.
I mean, so how do you, and I even the way you, and I don't need any money, guys, to be clear, but like I hear you like, oh, this Twitch thing, okay, YouTube you're monetizing, oh, the video does well, and then also I'm going on tour. Yeah. Also I'm trying to do writing projects. Yeah. How do you do all that?
I mean, it is exactly what you said. I do it all because I have to.
Yeah.
I got into a space at the end of 2024 where the outlook was bad. I had a show they got bought and developed by Peacock,
Okay.
and you know they sort of led us around by the nose for 6 7 months, and then ultimately shelved the project. And that was like my the last thing that my chips were on.
Yeah.
You know, the last big project that my chips were on. And I sort of looked around and was like, oh,
Yeah.
this doesn't look good. This looks bad.
Yeah, when those chips go off the table, you're like, wait a minute, am I like I'm missing some chips?
Am I out of chips?
Yeah, and your family's looking over like, man, we're hungry.
Yeah, I have a big son. He's very big.
Yeah.
And I looked around and I was like, I need to get a job probably. I need to probably not be waiting for some email that's going to change my life at this point.
Oh man, this is so like, I know exactly.
Yeah. So, I spent, I would say like the last quarter of 2024 applying to jobs in the music industry, in, you know, in production houses, in nonprofits, because a lot of my work before being in entertainment was working in nonprofits. And when I tell you, I didn't even get an email back. I didn't even get an email back. I was like, oh.
Not even like, oh, it'd be fun to, we're not going to hire him, but let's meet him and hang out with Mike.
Yo, not even an email.
Yeah.
So like, I came away from that time having learned, oh, I'm unhireable. Like, I can't really get a job because like there's no way to organize my resume that makes it look like I sincerely want to work at a place.
This resume doesn't say 9 to 5.
No, it doesn't.
15-minute breaks.
It says
lunch hour.
Right.
Yeah.
It says needs a paycheck and will leave here as soon as he can.
As soon as anything slightly better comes along, with even a promise of something slightly better, I'm not showing up.
So with that knowledge, I sort of looked around at the landscape and I said, okay, the only way through this is to work harder. You know, that was the only way through. So, you know, if it's streaming, if it's YouTubing, if it's TV writing, if it's doing shows, if it's putting out albums,
if it's merch sales, which I helped you with in
merch,
Berkeley.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Y'all don't know Kamau. He's a great, excellent merch second in command.
There's proof. There's a picture of me holding up a T-shirt like this that proves. I was happy to help.
No, it was great.
No. So, I mean, I resonate so much with this because you sort of like, and you sort of like every now and again, and I get paralyzed sometimes just like by like, if it doesn't come out of my head and generate income, then the whole thing falls apart. Like right. the whole house of cards.
It is a lot of pressure. And I think what a lot of people underestimate is like how much time that takes. Not even doing other things, but the thinking of the things.
The sort of like the gurgling of the thing to get it out of your mouth or your fingers.
So you gotta imagine it. You gotta, try to get it in a place to be produced, and you got to do these things. Like it is a lot, and I think a lot of times people underestimate how much free time that leaves a person with, because it's not much.
Yeah, and also how hard it is on your family,
right?
When it's like, because sometimes I know I'll speak for myself. I'm just like almost like this in a corner. Dada, do you want to? Yeah. You know what I mean? Huh? Or, when my kids say, put your phone down, Dad, I need to get this on Instagram.
Yeah, they don't understand. It's not, it's not happy fun time all the time.
No, and I've actually, my kids are now like 14. Like my oldest one, I talked to her recently, and great kid, doesn't hate me, really hated the trope of teenagers hating their parents. Like, so she's rebelling against that.
Hey,
like,
that's nice.
Yeah, no, she's rebelling against because everything you watch as a kid is about teenagers hating their parents. And she was like resolved at like 10, I'm not going to do that.
So she hasn't done it. Love. That's fantastic.
We've had like beefs and scrapes,
Yeah,
but nothing
for
about
sure.
like I just hate you overall. And so one time I was like, look, she was upsetting me about something. I was like, you're 100% right. Da, 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 da. Also, I think you're old enough to know it takes work to keep this afloat.
That's real.
Like it is not like you're old enough to know. I'm not asking you to participate.
Right.
I'm not asking you to stress about it.
Right.
But just understand that like you are old enough to know that this is a lot of work.
It is.
You know, and I am happy to do it for you. And sometimes that means I'm not gonna be my best self.
It does cost something.
Like, and it doesn't justify it.
Right.
But just you're old enough to know that like, you know, this is a lot and it's draining and I'm not.
And it's just I think it just comes down to math sometimes.
Yeah,
like it's
yeah,
just like the time and the energy that it takes. It's like, yeah, you're not always gonna have your best. I think that's a real fair way to do it. My son's 17, so you know his desire to connect is very regimented. You know what I'm saying? So I can manage my resources enough to kind of.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, he's he's not a little kid that needs a lot.
He's not coming to climb into your lap at the end of every day.
Yeah, he's not. I don't think. Well, he doesn't ask me to put my phone down, but sometimes I can tell that he wants me to be watching what he's watching on TV, and I'm like, you know what, you're right.
You're right. So I guess my last, as we bring this into a close, I have a couple other questions. One, how is your son's blackness? Like, how's your son's?
It seems very stable.
It's a different era now.
It is a different era.
Yeah. Black people are allowed to have like tattoos and fingernail polish.
Like,
black men, you know,
the expression, the expression spectrum is all over the place. He goes to a mostly white school though. Like there are, it's a neighborhood school. So there's a good amount of black kids, but they are the minority. So I don't think there's anyone around there challenging his blackness. But his identity seems very, very grounded. Very grounded.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job, parents.
Well, it's. I feel like I just have to fight the Manosphere off of him all the time. I just gotta constantly. I gotta throw hands with the Manosphere just all the time. Just all the time fighting.
Yeah, no, I said this last night. Like, I feel really lucky that I had 3 daughters because I can just sort of like give away all the men's state secrets. I can just be like, I'm a double agent. Like, here's what men do. Yeah. Whereas you have to be like, as I said to my daughter at one point, the problem with being a boy is that you can be a really good person, but at some point you're going to be in a room with a bunch of bad boys, and you're going to feel pressure, even if you're totally like sweetheart teddy bear, you're going to feel pressure to sort of like be one of them.
Yeah.
Or you're going to go to them for counsel and they're going to tell you the wrong thing.
Yeah. And with the way social media is, of course, they don't have to be asking. They're just getting bad
Andrew Tate's just showing up
all the time.
Yeah. Just with some unsolicited
like
advice.
My son has been exposed to Andrew Tate for like 7 years, like, and I'm like, he's not even the one I'm really worried about. Like I'm more worried about the ones where it's like, I can tell that it's like that, but it's not as immediately
as
apparent.
obvious.
Yes, it's not as obvious. That like that those are the values informing the takes. And I gotta be like, hey bud.
Yeah.
That guy, he hates women. Like, I have to say that a lot.
Yeah, no, of course you do. If he's on the internet, good for you for saying that.
You gotta say it.
He hates women.
Hates women.
He hates women. Yeah,
he, like everything that he just said.
Yeah.
If you translate it,
yeah,
I don't like women.
And then there's this weird thing about like, I understand. I mean, I feel like this. Like, I understand that you're watching it for this. Like, maybe he's talking about hip hop. But also he hates women.
Right.
So just if you need to separate out the hip hop talk or the football talk or the NBA talk, but understand you leave the hate. Don't take all of it.
Yeah, and I, he plays me a lot of artists that he likes because the hip hop he's into is very different than the hip hop.
That's what I was wondering.
I'm into.
Like, do you like the hip hop he's into?
I like some of it, and I can appreciate a lot of it, even if I don't like it.
What kind of hip hop does he like?
I mean, it's it's funny because it is called underground hip hop, but it's got nothing to do.
It's not your underground.
It's not nothing. It's not my underground as a kid. It's not my underground now.
It's like, son, I'm in the underground.
Right?
I would know if this was.
Yeah, no.
I don't see that guy at any of the underground hip hop meetings.
Yeah, no. This is a whole new crop that does a whole different sound. It is it's kind of way out, but that's what I appreciate about it, is that it's way out.
Yeah.
But it's like way out through a hood lens. It's really different kind of stuff. But he asked me my opinion of these artists a lot, and I always have to tell him, like, this guy, right? I like what he does. I think his flow is interesting. I think his approach is cool. I think he's a good songwriter.
Yeah.
But he hates women.
He
hates women. Like, I don't know if you can hear this.
Yeah.
But he actually hates women.
Yeah.
And so, we'll have tough conversations like that a lot, but
yeah.
I gotta fight the manosphere. That's the only way I can do it.
My other related to the manosphere, because I've been affected. My career's been affected by this, definitely. Have you been affected by the Trumpification of like just the industry and the Trumpification of like, and I don't mean as a human, like the DEI, like, you know what I mean? Sort of like the we're not interested in blackness in the way that we used to pretend to be. And so there's a time when New Negroes is being greenlit.
Right.
New Negroes is not getting greenlit now by a
100%.
major. So like, does that affect you in the music industry?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because there's anybody who's talking about buying me as a performer, as a musician, anything, like, they know what I bring, and it would be very different if I was trying to sell a TV show now. Yeah. It'd be very different. Yeah. But that's a corporate buyer, and I don't usually I don't have to deal with corporate
You actively
buyers.
are not dealing with the corporate buyers. See, I still am, like, every now and again, like, because I direct documentaries, I get sort of put before the corporate buyers.
Right.
And in those ways have to be like, hey, which to me, that's like almost the equivalent of getting a day job. Like, of like, I will direct this thing. And I'll try to put my spin on it, but it's, and I'll try to enjoy the work.
But it's not necessarily your top 10 most interested in personally topics.
Not things that I would do left to my own devices. This podcast is me being like, I want something that's for me.
Yeah.
I want something that's for, like, I could probably call you and be like, let's talk for an hour, but that'd be weird.
I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah, no, yeah. But I mean, maybe we can do it now, but this podcast is about me saying, like, I want to have conversations with people I want to talk about, and talk to people about things I want to talk to them about in a way that is like, I'm just going to talk to you about this thing, so in a way that, like, maybe on the phone, get back to your indie struggle might be weird.
I'm very curious what you and Ted Danson talked about, though.
It's not the same thing. We'll talk about it afterwards.
I hope it's not the same thing.
It's the exact same conversation.
That would be really weird.
No, it's not. But they're all related to blackness. So a couple more fun questions, then we'll get to it's all fun. But anyway, I just want to know, I've had moments like this, and I want to know, what is it like when somebody like James Gunn is like this? Like, did you have any connection to James Gunn?
No, not at all.
So James Gunn, director of, like, I guess he's in charge of DC movies now, and was also directed many Marvel movies. Just was like, this is what I'm listening to as I write Superman.
Yeah.
And you were on this is what I listen to playlist.
He just put out his, I don't know why James Gunn is sitting around listening to indie rap. I don't know why.
Did you know he was an indie rap fan? Like, is he known to be?
So I had heard whispers of that, and I guess his brother, Sean Gunn, is a real big indie fan, indie rap fan too. So, I'm not sure how the flow is going and who gets a hold of what first or whatever, but I had no idea something like that was coming down the pipe. And it was amazing. I feel like there was a time in my career when that used to happen more.
Yeah.
I think my work was newer on the scene, so more people were discovering it, I guess, at the time. And so I hadn't had nothing like that happen in a minute. So I thought that was real cool.
Yeah. No, it is those moments you're like, oh, like, people my work's out there,
right?
It's available for all.
Liked.
I can
it's
be
okay.
I can be liked by people who are in the mainstream.
Right. Do you remember doing my podcast? You don't remember this, do you?
Was this during Totally Biased?
I believe so, yes.
Then no, I don't.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I should listen to it.
We went to a restaurant, I believe, in Berkeley, and
this is after Totally Biased.
I didn't even have microphones. I just had like a tape recorder on the table.
That's why I don't remember.
And you heard everybody's conversation in the room, including ours.
Wow. Is that still up somewhere?
Probably.
Wow. It's funny you ask. I'm like, it was, so maybe it was after I moved back to Berkeley. There was like about a 3 or 4 year period where I was like it was the totally biased. It was like, I felt like that period of my life was like the end of a Vietnam War movie
Yeah.
where the survivors are just like, ah,
Yeah.
ah, and it took me a while to climb out and sort of like resettle into myself
That's what's up.
for a couple years. Because also it was like, I thought I was going to have this show, or I thought I was going to have the show for 20 years, and then I had it for a year.
Yeah.
And then something I had to go, like, again, so I think you said, like, my 2024 is not doing what I thought it was going to do. And my wife's pregnant with our second kid.
Ooh.
So that's like a real, like, it's funny you said that, because right now is the closest I've ever felt to that, just because it's like, I feel like it's all on me. Nobody's out there, like you said, no emails coming in going, we found like $2 million. And it has your name on it. So just want to get it to you. Just send us the Venmo.
Oh my!
That's not going to happen.
Oh,
so
my kingdom for $2 million.
Exactly. So wow, that took me back to a thing I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I have like fleeting memories of, but it's not. It's,
well, you were doing me a great kindness, and that's why I bring it up.
Okay. Well,
great kindness.
Well, I was happy to do it then. I'm happy to do it now. I feel honored that you sat down with me. 2 things before we leave. One, give me the open mic Eagle starter kit, the 5 songs that you would tell somebody if they're like, hey, what's this? Like, I think I'm ready to get into open mic Eagle. What are the 5
of my songs?
Yeah, your songs. Yeah.
Dishes off of my second album, Rappers Who Die of Natural Causes. Ziggy Starfish, because that's the song people like the most.
Okay, it's good. Now you want to put the hit in there?
Yeah, I want to put give him the hit.
Yeah.
Happy Wasteland Day, to give people a sense of my social commentary.
Yes.
I'd say, okay, but I'm the phone screen, to give people a sense of how fascinated I am with the mundane.
Okay. All right. One more.
One more would be, I think I would go, oh man, that's tough. One more. I'm gonna say dark comedy late show. 'Cause I'm doing self-deprecation, I'm doing social commentary, but I'm also just killing you with bars. Just killing you with bars, killing you with bars.
I'm barring you to death.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, okay. Good. It's funny, even from those titles, I think you exude alt black, indie black.
I am what I am.
None of those were like Maserati on my yachty.
Oh man.
Like none of those were like none of those were like bullet holes for my soul.
Yeah, no bottle service. None of that.
No bottles. And then, is there a lesson from your life or something that you think about that you're like, this is like a thing that gets you through, or a thing that you feel like is true, like sort of a thing that you like think about, like, or sort of things that are like that you sort of like, this helps define who I am to me?
I just, what's the word? I have this deep sense of gratitude for everything that I've been able to do. And a lot of it really goes back to, like, I've done things that I dreamed of doing when I was 15 or 16 years old. Dreamed of. And, the big lesson for me is that, whether it's 2024 and I got no money left and I'm trying to get a job, or I'm hustling the way I'm hustling right now, or if it's there was a time in 2018 when the New Negroes was on TV and being actively marketed in the house I was living in at the time. When I opened my bedroom window, there was a billboard with my face on it right on the next block that I could see through my bedroom window. And I never, like, the worst of times, I never lose sight of the improbable things I've been able to do. And I just hold on to that gratitude a lot.
That gratitude is a big thing for me with my kids. Like we talk about, because I feel like the life they're living, they're sort of things that are happening because they sort of were born after my career started happening, that they're sort of like, oh yeah, we just sort of like, and so very early on, I was like, I'm happy that they have this great life, that they're getting to do these things and meet people. And like, but also I want you to be grateful. So at the end of the night, I would say, when they were young, I still do with my youngest, tell me 3 things you're grateful for from today.
Yes.
Just as a way to sort of remind you that, like, no, this is not all supposed to happen.
For real.
Yeah,
and it's easy to take it for granted. Like you said, when they're born into it and they didn't see.
Like when I was
the
totally
struggle.
biased, my oldest daughter was 1, and she's like, I have a picture somewhere of her and her little friend blowing bubbles with Don Cheadle. I don't know that Don Cheadle remembers being on my show, but I have this picture of her blowing.
Photo.
Yeah, no photo. And I was like, one day you're gonna look at that and be like, what?
Wow.
You know, and so gratitude. That is a great lesson, man. I'm so happy that we were able to sit down and talk, and I really do feel like we were sort of a kind, and not like that. I think that like I would not be the rapper you were if I was a rapper, but that's how I explained it to my wife.
It's just me, me, you, and Questlove. And,
We're
all the same guy.
Yeah, we're all the same guy.
It's different shuffle. Same guy.
Last thing I ask is from homework. What is a cause that you want people to know more about or pay attention to or that they can support?
I would love people if they're able to support the Inglewood Mutual Aid Fund.
There you go.
I've tasked myself with getting more involved in the mutual aid. It's a local to me, especially coming out of the pandemic, coming out of the fires, coming just with
coming
all
into Trump.
Yeah, coming into Trump especially. I do a podcast called Past Due. That podcast is where earlier we were lightweight getting into numbers. We really talk numbers because the whole podcast is about how tough it is to navigate this current economy as creatives. And one thing that just comes up over and over again in these conversations is how important it is that we're active in the communities that we live around. And the community I live in is Inglewood, and that's the mutual aid that I would love people to support.
Again, I just talked to my previous podcast guest. We talked about mutual aid, and I was introducing it to him as like mutual. And he was like, "What is that?" And so to hear you then shout that out, I'm going to send that link to him. Just to sort of like, because I think mutual aid is if America's going to survive, that's it. Mutual aid is is one of the ways we're going to be able to survive.
It's the only way we can is to help each other out. And
just put the resources and money or goods directly in the hands of people who need them without navigating through traditional, foundational, institutional
grifters.
Yeah. Grifters. You're like, let me get a taste. Before you give her that blanket, I'm gonna need half a blanket.
Let me get a little corner of that.
Let me get a corner of the blanket. All right, man. So you with me?
Yeah.
All right. I knew you were. Thanks, brother. I don't know why I ended that way. Just felt like we needed a way to end it. But we can leave this in with me awkwardly feeling bad about the fist bump. Thank you for listening to my interview with Open Mike Eagle. Conversation. Why did I say interview? Thank you for listening. Again, Open Mike Eagle's new album, Doomed, comes out August 13th. His last album is out now from last year, Neighborhood Gods Unlimited. He Can't Be Stopped. His podcast is Past Due. You can watch him stream on Twitch. You can also see he puts clips up on YouTube. And he's just a good dude. So check out Open Mike Eagle. And Open Mike Eagle shouted out Inglewood Mutual Aid. You can find them best on Instagram. Go on Instagram at Inglewood Mutual Aid. You can find them there and support mutual aid. It's the only way we're going to save the universe, I think, is through putting money in the hands of people who need it or putting resources in the hands of the people who need it. So Inglewood Mutual Aid. Even if you don't live in Inglewood, you can help people there. Thank you to Rabbit Grin Productions for helping me produce this. Thank you to Pushkin Industries for letting me host the podcast on their site, on their network. And also thank you to Who Knows Best Production, which is me and my wife, but you haven't seen her yet, so me. And also shout out to Chris Dowd from Fishbone for the theme song. Check out the Who's With Me Substack, which is the best place to keep up with everything. Again, stand-up comedy dates, September 25th and 26th, Stanford, Connecticut, October 1st, Stanford University, and November 13th, Bellingham, Washington. Thank you for tuning in. And let's say, this week, why don't you do something good for yourself, for your neighborhood, for your community, and, for the world. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching an episode of Who's With Me. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe, share, hit that hype button. I hear it makes all the difference. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the hype button. Thank you.